Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Zoe,
I'm Mark.
and we are the Board Adventurers. So for today's video, we're going to do another Late to the Game. We're going to do a Late to the Game review of the two-player game Radlands. This is designed by Danielle Puchnik. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there, and published by Roxley Games. So in Radlands, this is a two-player post-apocalyptic game in which each player is going to have a base. You're going to have three bases. And the goal of the game is to defend your bases while attacking the opposing player's bases to eliminate those from the game. And the winner of the game is the person who can succeed at destroying all three bases of their opponent. So in the arc of the game, you're gonna draw 6 base cards, and you're gonna choose 3 of those, and that's gonna be your starting base. And the goal is to have synergy within the abilities of those base cards, as each base card in the game can do different things in the flow of the game. So once you pick your 3 base cards, you're going to set those up at the bottom of your tableau. And to the edge of the tableau, you're going to have 2 things there. You're going to have your water silo, and you're going to have your raiders card. Now, the water silo is going to give you extra water disc in the game if you utilize that. So the water discs are the main currency of Radlands. This is a post-apocalyptic game, so the idea is that water is supposed to be scarce. You're going to start off with a very small amount of water disc, 3, and you're going to use the water silo in which you can spend currency to take the water silo into your hand. And if you use it in a future round, it's going to give you an extra currency, water currency. The Raiders is an event that you can place at the side, play it on your tableau. And events are going to have timers that are determined on the card itself. It's going to show you where in your tableau is going to go. And each round is going to move closer and closer to the top of your tableau. Once it reaches there, the event is going to take place. So you're going to have those 2 cards at the edge of your tableau. But in front of your base, you need to defend those bases because you don't want your opponent to attack it and win the game. And that's where the people are going to come into play. So there's 2 different types of people in the game. There are punks, which is going to look like these guys, which is just the back of the people draw deck. And you can place those out in front of your bases just as a defense mechanism. They can't really attack unless there's a card that says otherwise, but they're there to defend your bases. The other side of these punk cards are going to be people. So these people are what you're mainly going to be using to defend your bases as well as attack your opponent's base. They're going to have specific abilities and specific costs towards those abilities to attack the opposing base. Now, to play those cards, you're going to need to use your water tokens here. As I mentioned before, you only have 3 of them. Now, you're going to use tokens water tokens to pretty much do everything in this game. Play cards, use cards' abilities, use your base abilities, draw extra cards, take your water silo. All of those cost money in order to do that. So usually 1, 2, but generally it's going to cost something to do those things, and that's going to be signified. If you're playing a person, it's going to be signified at the top left corner of that card itself in terms of what it costs to play that card. Also, on the top left corner of that card, you have a junk-in ability. You can place that card specifically to your discard to get an action. Whether a free action, whether that is to get an additional water, whether that is to damage an opponent, to draw a card, to heal someone that is damaged, to gain a punk, to raid. Any of that could be gained by discarding a card from your hand as an extra ability. As we mentioned before, abilities, doing things comes at a great cost currency-wise. So you want to do as many things as you can to do those abilities and discarding the card is a available way to do so. Other thing wanted to note in this game is that you can, when you're attacked, your bases and your opponents, they don't die immediately. They are just damaged. Means you tap the card, flip it over. They're now damaged. You usually can't use the ability of your people until they are restored. That's an ability to flip it back up and they can be used. Your bases, when they're damaged, they're still flipped over, but you can still use the power of your bases. And you're going to go back and forth, playing cards, attacking your opponent, attacking their bases until 3 bases are destroyed on one player's side. And the person who achieves that is the winner of the game. And that is the arc of Radlands. What do you think of Radlands?
Radlands is an interesting 2-player game. I kind of get reminiscent of Magic when I'm playing this game.
Yeah.
Because you're summoning cards, but they can't attack, right away because of summoning sickness.
Yeah.
And it does kind of give that feel of the post-apocalyptic. The art style is pretty visual. The color definitely hits you. I understand the idea of the effects. I think one of the most creative parts of the game is actually the effect cards on the top left. That you can discard a card freely to get any effect that's on the top. So you can kind of cascade effects back and forth into there. Attacking wise, some of the camps to me are arguably a little better than others. But when you draft, you can consider buying taking the ones that are better. Other than that, it's to me, maybe I just find it a little more mechanical. For my taste. But what do you think?
Yeah, so when Radlands was announced and it was getting the early reviews and people were enjoying it, I was really, really hyped for the game. My favorite themes in general in game are cyberpunk, steampunk, post-apocalyptic Mad Max style things. And I saw the cover of the game, I saw the cards and what it was going for, and I was like, this is awesome. This is Mad Max with a cyberpunk color theme, which I really, really was excited for. And it's a 2-player game. I generally like 2-player games, and I thought that the couple times that we played this, all the times that we played this, I really found myself kind of enjoying the game. The game has parts of it that I typically don't like in games. And I'm not sure what it is about this game in particular that I can kind of bypass that.
Okay.
So one of the things, for example, in games, I don't like when there's a turn in which you can't do anything. I think a game should have the player be able to accomplish something in each turn that the player has. There shouldn't be a waste of turn was I can't do anything, so I'll just do this.
Right.
That's kind of what Radlands is. There's going to be a ton of turns in which you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And your turn is spent trying to find something to do in which you're like, all right, I only have 3 coins. I'm going to play this card. Can't do anything. I'm going to spend the other 2 waters to draw something and spend a water to draw something and just hope it comes up something that I can use. You draw that card. Damn, I can't use this. Oh, but its junk effect makes me draw again. I'm going to discard it, draw again, draw again, and damn, I still can't do anything. And then that's your turn.
Yeah. I mean, one of the cool things about it is that at the end of a turn, you will draw a card, right?
The beginning
of the turn, sorry.
Beginning of your turn,
so you all at least have a junk effect, if possible.
Yeah.
Plus you have the 3 water.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's nuts. And then worst case is if you need more water, you can always go for that water tower.
Yeah. That's, agreed. And that's definitely a con in this game in which there are going to be turns in which you can't do anything. But for some reason, thematically, it just works for me in the fact that it's water. It's like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic thing in which they decided that water is the currency. If water is the currency and there's not much going around, you can't really do much. And it's a lot of just thematically trying to find something to do to really utilize your resources in an efficient way.
Right.
Which works. But there's also turns in which you're not doing much. Yeah. Which is a con.
One of the things I kind of wish this game had was that I wish characters could freely attack. Yeah. I think there's there's effects on these cards where they can either attack a person or they can attack a structure or like a base. But you can't have them just freely attack anything. And I guess that's part of like the balancing of this game. But having to summon, say, like a person to just defend a base, and then have them immediately on that next turn get tilted over, because they got attacked. It's a little bit disheartening, because to me sometimes I feel when I'm playing this game that whatever I'm doing, my opponent is immediately reversing in some sort of way. And that's where maybe I kind of fall into this game. Is that there's a tug of war to this? Yeah. Like once you start eliminating bases, the game balances itself that like you can summon units in front of empty bases. Yeah. And so like you can focus fire into more of an alleyway. Yeah. So there's not like a linear progression of like you can only attack bases in front of you. You can attack any base you want. Yeah. Which is cool, but sometimes it also could be overwhelming. If you have one base to your opponent's 3, they have 3 attacking your 1, and you can't really defend because you're kind of getting bombarded all over.
100%. I kind of agree in terms of wish there was more. For me, I wish there was the game start in which your bases are already sort of defended. Yeah. Just kind of having it empty and then put in things. It's like the beginning of the game, there are going to be bases that are free, just based off how the game starts, and your opponent can immediately start attacking that. Yeah. And especially if you've taken time to draw 3 bases with some sort of synergy, I would appreciate the game if it at least give you time to really explore the synergy of the bases before they're already eliminated from the game. Yeah. So if it kind of starts off with like maybe something like there are 2 punks out. Start off with 2 punks and you pick where the punks go. Possibly, or something like that.
I guess maybe like if I'm thinking of ways that I would add to make the game like a little bit more like for me a more friendlier gameplay. Like I wish there was a way I could just pay water to restore characters, like instead of having to use the effect. But when I think about it, it would add much more length to this game than it really should be. Yeah. Like this game is meant to be about a 30 to an hour. If you're able to just restore any kind of person, if you're able to just add punks in the very beginning, you're lengthening this game by at least an hour.
The game wants to be short, so it's kind of like destroy the bases, start over, play a game. Yeah, I agree. The game wants to be shorter, but I wouldn't mind if the game just kind of went, this is a 40 to 60 minute 2-player game. Yeah. And kind of really allow the players to explore the bases that they choose, especially since you kind of draw 6 bases and choose 3. You kind of want to explore what you choose. Yeah. But again, for me personally, these are minimal cons. For some reason, in other games, this would be big cons for me. But for this, I still really enjoy the game. So it kind of works for me with those cons. I just acknowledge it more the more I play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, in terms of buy, play, skip, where does this rank for you?
Yeah, so I think I'm in the minority when it comes to this game. For me personally, I find this game very mechanical. I feel like there's a lot of tug and pull, like tug of war action where like I pull 2, you pull me back 1, and then it kind of goes that way until someone draws a card that is able to change the game in some way. The raids are pretty cool, I will admit. The raids I like being able to activate them and be like 2 turns from now, I'm going to be able to blow up damage one of your camps. Yeah. But I have this card that moves my raid up 1. Yeah. Now that I've moved it up 1, it's actually going to be faster. So like it adds like almost like a timer to the game. Yeah. I'm coming in at a play, slightly leaning to pass. I think you got to know if you got to play to know if this is something in your wheelhouse. Again, I think I'm in the minority when it comes to this game, but I think a lot of people do like this game for the theme and the gameplay, and I can see where that kind of comes in. But it's just a little too tight for my taste. But it definitely is still worth a play, I think.
Yeah. For me, I'm actually on a play towards a buy. I know I spent a lot of time talking about the cons, but I really do enjoy this game for the 2 things that you said, the theme and the gameplay. I like the tug of war aspect of it. I like the just kind of I know you mentioned it, compared it to Magic, in which you just drawing a unique card, playing it, and trying to like explore what you can with that card. I really enjoy that. I think if you are into post-apocalyptic, specifically Mad Max, and love the color theme of like cyberpunk, that really like loud blue and pink color theme, and like two-player games, I think this is kind of a buy for you, honestly. Like I think it's I played a good amount of cyberpunk games. I think this is the best one that I've played. A lot of other post-apocalyptic games focus on zombies and that sort of post-apocalyptic thing, which I'm not really interested in. This is kind of really what I want from that theme and that gameplay. It really does feel like a Mad Max style post-apocalyptic game, which I really, really enjoy, even with the cons. So I think if you're in that same kind of boat in terms of what you want, enjoy from a game, this is a buy. If some of the things we talked about gives you pause, try it out. Give it a play. Yeah. But that's where I'm at. Play leaning towards a buy.
You really did like this game.
This was not exactly what I wanted, but this is really what I wanted from this sort of game. Yeah, cool. Well, that is our late to the game review of Radlands. I'm Zoe.
I'm Mark.
And we'll see you on the next adventure.